We're going to be ranking Liverpool's Premier League era cult heroes.
How is he a cult hero?
Because people loved him and he was rubbish.
He was crap.
No, wait, he's not going.
I've got a list of names. I think it's 11 or 12 names here. We're going to work through what there's some consideration points on this. So, because I asked our club legends to give me a bunch of Liverpool cult heroes, and we got some really big names in there. There's one or two that I chucked in immediately, and then when I went and checked, because I wanted them to have played less than 100 times, because I think you can be a cult hero who's played more than 100 times, but just for the sake of a bit of uniformity across it, I think you're crossing over into a different bracket there. So it meant no Luis Garcia, it meant no Igor Biscan, which Origi. I was a little upset for. It meant no Origi.
Nah, you've got this wrong.
Yeah,
he's too good to be a cult hero.
Exactly.
I mean, to be honest, he should just be number one, shouldn't he? I think.
There you go.
I think that's almost like.
I think he's just a hero.
Your second to fifth cult hero. He is number one.
I've heard this phrase
a cult legend.
No,
I've heard this. How many games has he done? More than 100. 120.
How many starts though?
Yeah,
that's true.
I don't reckon he can be a cult hero.
Neil's right, he should be. In terms of
he's just a hero.
Cult heroes, he's a generational talent.
If you want to go and print another one off of this, be my absolute guess.
I would say a cult hero is someone who he would never ever be in the equation for the best Liverpool 11. That's how I would say it. You know, that's how a cult hero is.
I think for me it's brightly but shortly. I think it's the kind of person that you take to your heart and you love, but for no reason other than they maybe scored a good goal or they had a good song or funny. You know, and this is why I moved it to the under 100 because I think there's a middle category that you talk about there. Because again, like I say, Igor Biscan falls into that. I mean, people adored him. My uncle thought he was the worst player ever to play for the football club, but ultimately that's the way it goes. You know, becomes an integral part in the Istanbul season. So I'm going to start. The first name I've got is Titi Camara. Where do we think? The one rule, is that we can only have one person at number one on the ranking board.
Okay.
So we've got 1 to 5 on the ranking. If you were
kidding, who else is in here? Because when there's no one else, he's pretty high up.
We can move them around. They're not staying fixed.
Let's start them at one.
They're not glued.
Let's start them at one, and
then
we'll move to one above them if we need to.
That is a great technique.
Okay. Give me some thoughts.
He's done this before. You've done this before. This kind of thought.
I watched the show last week and it was a shambles.
He's got a board upstairs with all the women's Instagram followers. It's exactly the same. He's like, yep, she's number one. Oh no, she's now down to number 2.
It's like MySpace for your top 8. all the viewers there. The thing I always remember about Titi Camara was for years he was the last person who scored a winning goal at Highbury or again away at Arsenal for years. I think it was Dalglish's team that maybe stopped. Or took that sort of mantle, maybe Suarez. And that's the moment I remember of him really was him going clean through at Highbury in the green kit with the sort of the Patrick Berger Old Trafford kit. And I remember him scoring it. I thought he was rubbish. Titi Camara. I said to go back to that point when he was clean through, it was like he won't score this, and he buried it. But yeah, he fits cult hero definitely.
I loved him.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved him to bits. Like, why wouldn't you? He was the first cult hero I had, I think.
Yeah.
He's a bit crap though, probably, that's why.
But that's what I mean. He had like one season where he come in and he scored a few big goals. And he did that famous moment where his dad had died and he played against West Ham.
West Ham, beauty as well, wasn't it?
Burst into tears in the celebration.
I also think the fact that his name's Titi is quite funny.
Yeah. Look, as I'd have been about 15 at this point, and that was enough, enough to be a legend.
He was in amongst a good crop as well, wasn't he? You know, like considering he never was Fowler, Owen, Heskey probably around that time as well. Who else with the Riedler? Possibly Karl-Heinz Riedler, yeah. So yeah, he did well to get some goals in some games, didn't he?
37 appearances, 10 goals, 2 assists for the club.
1 in 3.
In that time.
There you go.
It's not really. Goal involvements.
That's how I was math. Okay, well, next on the list is the big Dutchman himself, Eric Meyer. Better or more or less of a cult hero than Titi Camara?
I don't remember him, really.
Well,
I think, this was like borderline my time.
He, as a player, or what he did for Liverpool, obviously below Titi Camara, but probably fits the cult hero more than Titi Camara because he was about.
Get him down. I agree.
It was about personality. He was a bit mad, wasn't he? The big mad Dutchman. I spoke to a few players from that era, John Newby was one that I interviewed not so long ago, and he was saying that he used to play in the resis with him quite a lot, you know, with Eric Meyer, maybe when he was, obviously wasn't getting a game for Liverpool. And he said he was a character, like he was off his head, he'd just go and tackle anything. I always remember Chris Bascom telling me a story about him getting Basco in some sort of wrestling move or slash headlock slash wrestling move about something.
Please tell me it was a full Nelson.
Yeah, well, it was something, but it was basically like Basco must have done something. I don't know if it was in the Cop magazine or the Echo, but it was something like, is this the best strike force? Now, it was after Heskey had signed, so it was, is this the best strike force in England? You know, Fowler, Owen, Heskey. And Eric Meyer sort of collared him at Melwood, like unexpectedly, and just said, "Where's the big Dutchman?" And like had him in some sort of like thing. So I always think about him as a more of a character, but he did far less for Liverpool.
Kind of like the idea of him rolling him into a sharpshooter now.
Yeah.
As he walks into Melwood.
Yeah, or just a full gorilla press, like over his head.
Massive little fella in as well, just spinning him on his finger.
Bless him,
Off the Harlem Globetrotters.
Top rope.
Chris Bascom's had a tough time later. Let's leave it. Look, 27 appearances, 2 goals, 2 assists in that time. You're right in so much as there's a few of these. Like, I didn't put Sean Dundee on the list because I think he's a step even further below that of like, he's almost like
he
a top trump.
He never made it to Cultero.
Yeah. It's like top trumps of obscure Liverpool players. That's what those players fall into. Like Jean-Michel Ferry's obviously the top trump of the most obscure players ever to play for Liverpool. And Sean Dundee and Eric Meyer for me are slightly more that. Titi Kamara actually had impact.
I think he would have done something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like one of them goals might have been against like Hull.
I think he got both of them maybe against Hull. It was the game,
Leighton Maxwell
game. Yeah. I was thinking about Sean Dundee. I don't think I ever saw him play. I couldn't tell you what he looked like. Sean Dundee. I think his name sort of was the best thing about him, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, crocodile.
Wasn't even involved in this show. You've absolutely nailed it.
No, but I think from a Liverpool point of view. All right, well, you tell me your favourite Sean Dundee moment.
What's his name? Okay.
Poor Sean sitting there home going, what the fuck? He's taking absolute strays.
I'm staying out of this one. I don't know what to do with that. No one knows what to do with that.
Okay, well, yeah, I think so. We seem to have Eric Meyer above Titi Kamara at the moment. Why have we done that?
It's in height order.
All right, then. In terms of cult hero.
No, I think he's got to be below Kamara, hasn't he?
Were you the one who put him at the top?
No, I wasn't. I said in terms of he fits the cult hero, but if we're having Kamara as a cult hero, he's done more for Liverpool, hasn't he?
Yeah. I totally agree on that one. Thank you. I'm just quickly trying to see if I can get Sean Dundee's stats up while we've got it.
Oh, Sean, leave him alone.
He made 5 appearances for the club. I didn't know that. It's telling that I remember your performances for the club more than Sean Dundee. And Sean Dundee was like a summer signing. Everyone was quite excited when we brought him.
How old would he have been? Because I can't remember.
This
I've
is
heard the name.
Same era.
It's like similar. Like honestly, I can know the name.
Yeah,
no thing, but I can't remember seeing him.
I think Sean Dundee's got a football game named
after him.
Can you just
check on that? I'm trying to think now. I think I've got a memory of Sean Dundee. Did he play against Valencia in the game where Steve McManaman was sent off?
Let me see.
Was that Eric Meyer?
Against Valencia.
I remember they were down to like 9 men. Down to like 9 men, and he was playing right back, pretty much just kicking it up the field.
You're too good for this show now.
Yeah.
So we're going to put the next one on the list. Gary Mack.
It's one in it.
Gary McAllister.
One in it.
See, I know you've done it on appearances, but I think he's too good. But he is the cult hero.
87 appearances for Liverpool.
And also, it was the Sean Bright quick thing, you know what I mean? He had a year and a half.
He was 35 when we brought him in.
What a player he's been for that club.
Mate, he is unbelievable. And
the free kick alone, it gets mentioned every time we have a free kick from 35 yards.
Remember
Gary Mack? Yeah. I mean, it's still, how many years ago was that free kick?
Oh, that had been good as somewhere in it.
Yeah, Easter Monday, wasn't it? Easter Monday, yeah. And then obviously...
This treble season, weren't it, of course?
Scored in the UEFA Cup final, didn't he? Penalty.
Roma Pen, weren't it?
Roma Pen.
Well, his song's the best song.
And he's bald and represents.
I remember that when he signed, I mishearing a mate of mine who said Liverpool signed Gary McAllister. It was before the Twitter days, obviously. And I remember thinking he said Gary Pallister. I'm thinking, that's all right. Yeah, I'll take that. You know, like a little centre back. Yeah, get that in. And then I was like, oh, it's Gary McAllister.
Following the Paul
He's so old. He was so old, wasn't he? But I think it's probably telling that a lot of people probably remember him as a Liverpool player, even though he only had maybe a season and a half. I think a lot of people would see him as Gary McAllister. Oh, yeah, he played for Liverpool.
His knees look sore, didn't he? Look like when we used to run, nobody used to. No, he did, like, say, he had the Reebok boots on, didn't he? The black with the biggest thing, and he was like, but for me, like, other than the striker kind of, he was my favourite. I loved him. Yeah. I loved it. Even my nan used to know him. Like, just because he was. That's what for I'd know as a cult hero. Like, when all your family don't love football, know him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
Gerrard speak about him. Gerrard says, like, you know, when he was a young, impressionable midfielder, he said Gary McAllister was like sort of almost like you'd copy the way he'd do his tie, you know, on his club suit and stuff like that. He was like really so influential.
Like, hard man as well. Like, even though he didn't look it, he probably like.
He just bald and Scottish.
Yeah, bald and Scottish.
Did he win the league with Leeds?
Yeah. With like David Batty and Gary Speed, and he was
so good.
We had
a real good player.
Just to go back, we've got a super chat from Liam Bento, who says Sean Dundee has cult legend status here in South Africa.
There you go.
So he's got it somewhere. It doesn't make the board, but if he's got something going for him. Yeah, Gary Mac, so far, so
be hard to beat.
I don't think he can be moved.
There's no better songs, so you can't really beat him.
I don't know about that.
I think, other than in cult hero songs, there's better songs than Gary Mac, though, isn't there?
Oh, for guys.
For them, yeah.
Again, Baldy represent.
See, I don't want to carry on. What is the best songs? Garcia's.
Yari,
Firmino.
Littman.
Firmino was sick as well.
Yari Littman's next up. Another one, actually.
I love Jai Littman.
He was too good to. He's fallen off a cliff to end up as a cult hero because he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
He should have been so much better than that.
2 years too late.
He's the only player when I've been working on a game that I've asked for a selfie with when I've been like there at a job.
And did you get it?
Yeah, obviously. I loved him. I thought when we signed him and then that Leverkusen goal and stuff, I adored him. But then. Speaking of bad knees, I think was that him. Like he was
it's funny. I think people think he was like they see him a little bit like Gary McAllister, don't they? Like he was sort of late 30s, but he's 29 when he signed for Liverpool.
I would have thought he was late.
But he was like on my era. Well, all our eras, I guess. Was that like the ITV Champions League era? And obviously only one English club, and if they went out early, you ended up with Ajax on ITV or AC Milan or whoever, and so you remember him being like, oh my god, how good a player was he when he was at Ajax with De Boer and Kluivert and all them, and he came to Liverpool and it didn't really work for him, did it? But my granddad used to call him the lockpicker, and he never had a nickname for. He never ever come up with a nickname for any other player. But I always remember he used to go, oh, Littman and the lockpicker, and I just thought that was like what he was known as. Yeah. I don't think he was. I think it was just
articles.
That was just in a different language.
That was just
like
Mal Kelly. Mal Kelly just come up with the lockpicker and it stuck in our house.
Yeah. Fantastic football.
Where's he go then?
43 appearances, 9 goals and 6 assists.
I think
is that assist against Man City, is it? The one where he's got his back to like the whole pitch and he kind of spins his body and plays this through. But yeah.
I remember before.
I think he should go above Maya but below Kamara.
I remember the goal at Villa when the ball at the ref's back. And then it was like an open goal because I think Schmeichel kicked the ball at the ref and then he just scored. Now obviously that would blown dead. But then when he scored in Leverkusen, it was away, wasn't it? And I remember I've been telling my mates for ages, he's boss. Why isn't he playing? And they were like, fuck, he's crap. And then he scored. I was like, I told you. And then obviously got beat anyway. You're
alright with that? You don't look like you want to let go of him. You're just kind of staring at him.
It's like he's holding it like he held that selfie.
Yeah. You know the worst thing about that selfie was going back to the ball problem. I took it with the sun behind me.
Oh no.
And,
was that a Legends game, was it?
Yeah. And it looks like half my head was bitten off because the sun's shining on it. It looks like I'm a shark attack victim.
Bitten off.
Absolute horrendous.
On the subject of cult heroes with great songs, Maxi Rodriguez.
That's a better song.
I don't think it is better than the Gary Mac song.
It's not.
Have you ever been in a pub in fucking Germany with 250 Germans singing the Gary Mac song as he walked into a building? No, you haven't. And I tell you what, it's not getting beaten.
I love the Maxi song. Is he a cult hero?
I don't think he's a cult hero.
Okay.
He got a couple of hat-tricks, didn't he, in a row? So he had a little bit of form, didn't he, and that, like, but...
He was Kenny Dalglish. He had like a goal scoring.
He was one of the better players of that
73 appearances for the club, 17 goals, 6 assists in that time.
When I'm thinking cult hero, I'm not thinking Maxi Rodriguez.
Maybe the song is more cult than the
mean.
player. Yeah, I would say. I mean, he was a very good player, wasn't he? I remember one of the best World Cup goals you've ever seen. Chest and volley, 2006, wasn't it?
He's only just retired, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was a brilliant clip of him, sort of like getting this unbelievable send off, wasn't it? Was it those old boys? Yeah, and he was like, he was obviously so well guarded, wasn't he, back in Argentina? But
I'll put him at 5 for now, but he's in danger of falling off.
It's harsh, that.
But he's not a cult hero.
I don't think he's a cult hero, though.
I think he probably goes in the Littman category.
It's harsh,
yeah. Littman and that.
I tell you, he's up there. I think he's the best player on the board, but I think he's the lowest cult hero.
Oh, okay.
What you mean? Is best player for Liverpool on the board?
I think he's in. I think he's in the Yardley Littman category.
Okay.
But
I think he might be too good.
I think Eric
That's
Myers
just
more
that's
of a
just a
cult
great
hero
player
than-
category, the number 3, isn't it? But
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
He was a shining light in a pretty dark sort of time for heroes, really, wasn't he? You know, sort of in between the Torres Suarez era.
Yeah.
Who was it? Fulham and Aston Villa. He's asked 2 hat-tricks in a
Definitely
row.
won at Fulham, didn't he?
The banger, he scored the banger, cut inside.
Yeah.
Okay. We're heading to a little glut of more defensive players here. I want to see how this impacts people's decisions. First one is Mamadou Sakho.
Oh, fuck off.
He's not a cult hero.
He absolutely was.
How is he a cult hero?
Because people loved him and he was rubbish.
He was crap.
Nah, mate, he's not going on the board.
I don't think he goes on the board either, you know. I don't think he goes on the board.
He definitely had a year where in the Twitter era he was a cult hero, the Scouse soldier, and he obviously had done a lot of work for charity in the city, didn't he? With an hour for others, wasn't it, when he went and done some painting with them. He's obviously got the distinction of being like the only person Jurgen Klopp's probably ever fell out with, like at Liverpool in his time at Liverpool, maybe apart from Zelko Buvac, but like I think he's. Maybe foregone as cult hero.
You can't get kicked off an American tour.
GoPro antics.
You can't get kicked off the tour by the manager we all love and then be called the cult hero. Okay. You might be called another C word.
He lost some, didn't he? Was he on loan at Palace when Benteke scored and he sort of celebrated with him at Anfield, didn't he?
He ran to do it as well.
Yeah, he made the point. I mean, I don't think he's ever spoken out about what really happened in that period.
I was going to say, there's also the whole diet pill incident leading up to the Europa League final, which he was exonerated of eventually.
He was. I mean, he come out pretty bad from that in terms of he came out bad. It was pretty bad for him, and I think he was treated pretty badly. But yeah, he scored in Dortmund.
I was just about to say, did he get the Dortmund header? Didn't he?
Scored against Everton as well.
Yeah.
That might creep him on then.
Did his knee in and got carried off the pitch, then ran back on for 30 more seconds, headed the ball clear, collapsed, had his name chanted a few times, and then I think he was out for months off the back of it.
I thought he was actually quite good. And then we signed good defenders and was I know maybe.
Well, he was like PSG's captain at 22 or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, they were shit then.
Yeah.
I thought he was.
Off the board. Are we saying off the board?
I'll put him at 5 for now.
Yeah, we'll go for his goal against
Dortmund goal, just for the Dortmund.
Yeah, I think he goes in the lowest category there.
Chance. Colo Torre.
Oh, he's up there.
Yeah.
Just the song as well, do you know what I mean? It's at least the 3, isn't it?
And you know what's the best thing? He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Everything about him's really funny. Like, he doesn't mean to be sometimes. I remember James told the koala bear story and stuff. And he's terrified of animals.
The dog. We've got a dog at home. I've never spoken to it. He said we've had it another 2 years.
And didn't he? The Whitney Houston thing when before someone asked him about Whitney Houston dying, he got the complete wrong answer in a press conference. He's absolutely just.
I think there's only one allowed in number 1. I think he's number 2.
I love him. I remember when the Europa League run, and we saved him and then just wheeled him out in the Europa League games.
Finally playing the final.
Yeah, but his legs are completely gone. I was like rolled him out, and he was like,
he was in my era. So like for me personally, like what I can say, he was unbelievable person. Yeah. So like that's for me, he'd be definitely a cult hero because I remember one day we was in training and like he was completely shouting at me like, do this, and I'm thinking like, mate, fuck off, like no, like I don't know what you want me to do, like I don't know what you're saying to me, and then at the end he pulled me and he was almost upset, like I'm sorry I had to do that, and I was like, no, you don't need to be I just didn't understand what you meant. You know what I mean? Like
what was he asking you to do?
I think I'm wrong.
You've been out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
There's a great.
No, there was like sorry, but he was like, he was saying something, but he was like kind of speaking to me, but talking to himself. Then he pulled me at the end, and he was like upset that he'd made me feel in a way of like that. And then obviously, listen, he was just Gerrard coming up the escalator doing his song makes him a cult hero. Do you know what I mean? The whole team, they're doing that. In
Gerrard's book, isn't it, where he says the Palace game when he drew 3-3 and Suarez was crying on the thing, and Gerrard's got Suarez, and he says, "I just hear behind me, it's okay, the big man's here." And he said it was Kolo Touré. He hadn't played, he was in his jacket, but he said he come over and was like, "Stevie, you get yourself off. You've suffered here tonight. You know, like, I'll take Louis back to the dressing room." And he said that was sort of the measure of the man. Really, he was a proper team player. And I just remember his mental celebration when he scored at Villa, and he just fell on his back.
Remember when he knocked the ref over? That's so funny as well.
Yeah.
He just ran into the ref and just absolutely bossed him.
Is he Wigan manager now?
No, he was sacked quite soon. Yeah, but twice Premier League winner. You know, 2 different clubs. Like,
Invincible as well.
Brilliant player in his time as well. Like, he wasn't just a figure of fun. Like, he was a really, really good centre back as well.
I remember he gave one away against West Brom. I remember this, and he looked. It was almost like the Office because he looked at the camera. And I don't think he knew he was looking at the camera. And it was just hilarious.
Yeah, it was a bit like almost like, why is he there? Why has he just done that? Why is he like it was you, mate?
Was that me? Pass that to me.
I think I love him just for he was brilliant in that Madrid game when Rodgers benched everyone. And you know, having travelled all the way over there to see at least Kolo Touré putting a performance.
We lost to Real Madrid, and it's telling because I've now been twice to Bernabeu in the Champions League and watched us lose to Real Madrid. And I tell you, I came back loads more positive the first time, bizarrely, when we were in the airport going, "Oh, Kolo Touré be checking his back pocket. Oh, Ronaldo's still in there," and all that kind of stuff, like walking away like he was a king.
Kolo was a top player.
I think he's above Kamara in the 2 category as well.
Yeah.
So if
is he making a run up one here?
I think he knocks Kamara down.
Yeah, I think Kamara goes down one there, or at least in between 2 and 3.
Well,
yeah, but you got Kolo's chance as well.
Well, is Kolo up with Gary Mack?
Yeah.
Ooh.
No,
not quite. No,
didn't score in a derby, did he?
That helps. And again, he's bald.
Okay. Maybe this will help then. Mo Sissoko.
He was good.
He's involved in another great song, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's cult for whacking it 30 yards straight up in the air.
Marseille.
Fucking hell.
Never forget it.
Just one of the worst
maddest things I've ever seen.
It was a touch. It was his control. He tried to bring the ball down, beating it straight up in there.
He obviously...
It went so high. Now it's snowing.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing, lad?
Did he ever score for Liverpool?
One.
Did he have to wear the glasses as well, like David?
Yeah,
because of the eye injury.
A couple of things that adds to the narrative, doesn't it? That he got overhead. Someone done an overhead kick. Was it Benfica? Was it someone done an overhead kick into his feet? But he was going to sign for Everton as well, wasn't he? And Liverpool pinched him off Everton, so I think he gets an extra point there.
87 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists.
I was watching the Gerrard Salah thing. Did you recently on Liverpool TV? Talking about the goals, and he saw the cup final. Gerrard said, "Yeah." At the end of the game, it was just all the game plan was give it to Momo because he's the only one who could run. We were all knackered.
I remember the derby that season as well when Gerrard was sent off with the 08 shirt on the back at Anfield after about 15 minutes, and he was Sissoko was like he went down to 10 men when he was on the pitch because he went and done the run.
Everything up until the eye injury, he was just magic. We used to joke he was a bit like Gerrard's going, "Go on, Momo, go get the ball for us, mate." And he'd scamper off, and he'd come back, and they go, "There you go, Stevie." And he goes, "Great, Sam, don't worry." And he'd start,
do you want me to shoot? No. No, I'll do that.
Absolutely not. No, you roll.
This number 3 category is getting pretty full here, isn't it?
There might need to be some heavy decisions made here.
Maybe.
Well, we've got a few more. We've got 5 more.
5
should do.
Let's go then.
Next one. Ragnar Klavan.
Oh, the team.
He's a cult. He is. He's who I thought when you text this morning, cult heroes. I thought of Ragnar straight away. He's amazing. By the way, he's that handsome. I met him the other day. Really guy.
Gone there.
Yeah, he was. He was. I was talking to him about he'd been on a story as Strictly Come Dancing, and that's what I talked to him about.
Did he do his turn?
Almost certainly.
He'd done that on the show, I think, part of the show. He was a good guy. And I think he's the definition of a cult hero for me. Because he's not crap, but he didn't play much. And he's got funny moments.
I don't...
But He hasn't got a
Is he
song.
up there with Gary Mack and Colo?
No. He hasn't got a song for a start.
Not quite.
He had a winner, didn't he? He scored a winner at Burnley, didn't he?
Yeah.
New Year's Day.
I was in the delivery suite of Liverpool Women's with my missus. I was meant to go to Burnley.
Why are you stopping us talking about being there?
Because let me finish. Fucking hell. Let me finish. Wow. I was saying, if it's a boy, can we call it Ragnar?
Okay, so.
Actually, he scored the winner. Like, if it's a boy, can we call it Ragnar?
And did you get to call your son Ragnar?
It was a girl, so.
Okay. And would you
have not met Ragnar?
Have you ever?
I was hoping it was Lucas.
Your baby's just a little raggy doing that.
Ragnarette.
Where's he go?
I think he's 4.
Yeah,
I think he's more of a cult hero.
Have you seen all the players?
He's more of a cult hero than them two.
Yeah,
they're just boss players.
I think he fits the cult hero.
Okay, we'll put Yari. You're gonna put Yari and Maxi down to 4.
Put Yari there for now.
Are we gonna get a chance for the final shuffle?
Final
you know what I mean?
Yeah, with Eric Meyer, like
with Eric Meyer, like that's hard.
That front three.
I think Eric.
Right.
Yeah. That's better. That's better.
Eric
Watch out if he sees you, put you in a fucking chokehold.
He's a big media personality now.
Okay, the only. Oh no, I tell a lie. There's 2 current players on this. This
I
is
hope
the
one of
first
them's
one.
I hope one of them's definitely on there.
Kostas Tsimikas.
Ooh. I scored a winning penalty.
He did.
I don't think is he a cult hero? Why is he a cult hero? Because the pen.
The name
Greek Scouser, the Greek Scouser.
Exactly. He's got all the hallmarks of a cult hero.
Okay.
He's a bit weird.
He'd be a cult hero.
He held the charity shield like a shield in the aftermath of the match.
Captain Kostas.
Yeah.
He's a. We met him at Hotel Anfield. I've never seen a man with flared jeans. They were big. They were
not this century.
That knocks him down one. He's got to be 2. He's 3 now for sure. Ric Flair's flying about now.
Cancel out the penalty.
He also told Chris how to say his name, and then Chris said it wrong 5 seconds later. How do you say your name? You went Tsimikas. You went. All right, and we cost that Tsimikas. He just looked at you like. Nice.
Why did I ask him?
Where's he?
I don't know. He's more of a cult hero than these 2. So we might have to. Oh, well, sorry.
Well, why can't we stick him in 3 for now?
Sorry.
We can't. Oh, this is getting messy now.
That's a guess there.
Steve was like it was a shambles last week when they put them in the place they wanted to go.
Chris has taken over.
That is a huge. Like he'll only ever be remembered for one thing he ever did for Liverpool, but it's a winning penalty in a cup final. I don't think he'll ever have another moment that you think cost us him. Yeah, exactly. He's not.
You know what I mean? He's not a bad player, is he?
But you thought your backup left backs.
Yeah,
I can't have him on the same level as Sacco, mate.
I threw Sacco off the board.
Oh yeah, sorry.
For a reason.
Take off for now.
So Sacco's been relegated for now.
Scouse soldier in the Greek Scouser.
Yeah. Okay. Another the last of the current players, Nathaniel Phillips.
Someone needs to do the turn, don't they? Someone needs to just show the turn, don't they?
Yeah.
You know what I
mean? That's the iconic moment. You need an iconic moment as a cult hero. And
it's the ground. It's the ground it was at as well.
Yeah, Skinning's
it's going to host the Champions League semi-final twice, and he's like chopped the whole stadium into the other way, didn't he?
I mean, the other one is Alisson's header. Is the pace he arrives at the ball and nowhere near. And I interviewed him after it, and he said, "It's just a good job. I never got my head on that." He said that was going to the moon. He said, I just ran at the wall. He said, and Alisson just flicks it in. So he's like, he's that period obviously was quite a miserable period, wasn't it? I think just for the world, and I do think he gave a lot of light to Liverpool at that point.
Picture of him
Johnny Head as well, the band of Johnny Head.
The picture of him and Reece, like they've been battered walking off the pitch against Palace.
I know, and you think as well, even before that, he had just basically like on call for an Everton game. Just he was playing for Stuttgart, and he went, "Do you want to fancy a game? Got a game Sunday here against Everton." I'll come down here and keep Calvert-Lewin in my pocket, sound. I'll get off then. Back to Germany. So I think he's high 3. He's high 3 or 2, I think.
Is he 2? I think he's 2.
I think he's more than Ragnar Klavan.
Yeah, definitely. He's got to be more than Klavan.
Yeah.
Sam.
Great beard, strong beard.
2.
Liam Gallagher has he's gone out with Liam Gallagher's daughter as well. So
iconic.
That's extra.
You know that
celebrity points. Yeah.
So I bet Liam's
about
that.
Let me show you some of the
Liam's they're half Liverpool fans then too as well.
He might just have.
Nat Gallagher up to number 1. No, but he's a great guy as well. That's a lovely fella. Proper like someone who's grounded as well. So yeah, I'd have him.
Okay.
Can you be a cult hero if you've tried to leave every transfer window and they just won't let you go?
Yeah, stuck around forever. Groundhog Day.
As soon as he's about to get on the plane, Vir just done his hamstring and the car just turns around. Oh, there we go again. Back again.
Xherdan Shaqiri.
Don't think he's a cult hero.
Why is he on this list?
Who
said him?
I'm just going from the
suggestions. Do you know what I mean? It's the Barca before.
Is it because he like looks a little bit funny?
Some career in. No, he's had some career in.
He was a good. He was
wow.
He's in the Littman and
he's a top player.
Littman and
relatively speaking. You hate him.
No, I didn't.
Oh, gosh.
I saw one of the best World Cup goals as well, didn't he? Remember the volley?
I saw him
the overhead kick.
Scored an overhead kick against Manchester United in the big house in Michigan in front of 100,000 people or whatever. One of the maddest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm thinking about it now, right? The celebration with the arms folded, that helps, doesn't it? As well?
Yeah, I remember him getting interviewed that he scored in the Champions League early, maybe Red Star Belgrade, maybe. And in the mix zone, someone like just dead earnestly, I hadn't really spoken to him, said to him like, "You must be. It's amazing for you, you know, playing with the likes of Mo Salah and Sadio Mane. That must be fantastic." And he just sort of went and, "I've played for Bayern Munich and Inter Milan, mate. You know, I've seen good players before, you know, and I like to think I'm quite a good player." So
I had a similar thing in that mix zone after that Man United game of being like, "Oh, it must be great for you. It's like a big moment with Manchester United." And he was just like, "Played in big games. It's friendly.
Done on the World Cup
before." It's like, oh yeah. Fair enough.
He was just a good player, I think.
And the United goals. As well.
Yeah. Set up Gini Wijnaldum's header against Barcelona.
Set up Salah at West Ham with that counter-attacking goal at West Ham.
That Trent to shaft to Salah.
Set him, didn't he?
Yeah. Okay. Not a cult hero.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's a decent player.
Okay.
It's all Shaq.
Jibril Cisse, the Lord of the Manor of Frodsham, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And DJ.
And mate, the man was could do everything. But
I bet he got the Daily Mail where you could buy a tree up in Scotland.
He
as
could
well.
be singly
a patch of the night sky.
Yeah, he's got
he could be singly on his own at one there, couldn't he? Though
I don't think he's a cult hero.
No,
really
big record signing.
Champions League final pen though.
Yeah.
Never really ended up as a properly established.
No, I mean, he had terrible luck.
How many games did he play?
His first goal was Tottenham away when it come off his shin, didn't it?
Yeah. He only played 79 games.
See, I think he would have played 100, wouldn't he?
But he scored 24 goals in that time.
See, I think a lot of these
great
lads
goal in the cup final, didn't he?
Did.
Underrated Liverpool goal.
Even though he had one red boot on and one white boot on for the first half, which I remember drove Mark Lawrenson absolutely berserk in commentary.
That's a Trent pass, isn't it? Gerrard passed it. That's a Trent. That's what he can do.
I think a lot of these lads, they're on the cult hero because they were older. Actually, he would have played 100 games. He had the leg injury.
I just think the expectation that he signed with, it's not the same as Ragnar Klavan coming for a couple of million or TT Cameron. He was
8.5 million from
it was Rafa's first.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think it was even more than 13, 14 million. I'm like,
it was the budget. It was Rafa's budget.
Yeah, so it's not his fault necessarily, but I think he's a bit of a disappointment as a Liverpool player. So
I think for him though, I think a couple of things because he never hit the height, but like I think he's one of those players that didn't do it on the pitch consistently, but we took him to our hearts as one of the reasons why I think he does class. You know, like breaking his leg and then coming back to be available for the Champions League final, even though he's obviously not played that whole time. Scores in the FA Cup final as we've already mentioned. The fact that he's just a bit of a character and a bit mad. It's like the mad haircuts and the mad suits and literally taking a Lord's Chip title while he was there. He's got a lot of the elements. He's what basically I thought we were getting another of in Balotelli. You know, like when you get a bit of a character and a bit odd, and he's going to do some funny and interesting things. Except Balotelli.
Yeah, he scored more goals if there was VAR. Because I used to think he was offside all the time, and I wonder now if they started getting the lines out there.
Maybe they lost a few.
Or he might have got he was offside all the time.
Right. Okay. Come on, boys. Let's get our final. Let's finalise what we've got.
Are people getting how many can be on the board?
You can have as many on the board
so
as
only
you want.
One can be number one.
Only one can be number one.
There can only be one.
There can be only one. Yes.
I think that's got to be
highlight.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think so.
Do we want to throw any of these on anyway?
Who we got off?
Cisse for winning the Champions League got to be on there.
I don't think Shaq can be is worth a place personally on the board. Not worth. No, as a cult hero.
Yeah, he's too good for that. I can throw these on if you want.
I'm happy with it as is. You know, I think it's fine.
Cool.
Adam really wants to put Cisse on.
I loved Cisse. I loved Cisse.
Possibly push them into where.
But I was young and vulnerable, and that's when I loved him. Do you know what I mean? Because he was my signing.
I think I moved Eric Meyer up one because of just the title of the piece. I think he's more befitting a cult hero.
Okay. I'm going to throw Dijon at the bottom just for Adam as well. I'm alright with that.
And you want...
Who are we missing off? Who have we got off?
Shaq and Sakho.
Sakho definitely off, yeah.
Shaq, if you will. Okay, so in 5, Chris.
On the board.
Do you
want it? It's okay. You keep hold of it. Just tell me.
I was getting really
tell me who's on there. to the camera, mate. I don't need to see it.
I can't tell who's on there, can I? Gary Mack. Is number 1.
You must sing the song. As we go past.
The reading was on it. Like it's fine. We're so close to being.
You could turn the board around and then you'd be able to read it, but the viewers won't be able to see it.
There we go. Number 5. Chris, who's in 5?
Yari Lippman and Maxi Rodriguez and Djibril Cisse.
Okay. 4.
Costa Tsimikas and Eric Meyer.
There we go. We've got it.
3.
Ragnar Klavan, Momo Sissoko, Titi Camara.
2.
Kolo Touré and Nat Phillips, centre-half partnership.
And number 1.
Gary Mack.
I think you've nailed that.
I think you've done a good job there.
I think so.
Well done us.